That I experienced one day while watching a match in Croke Park. I was there at a game between Kilkenny and Galway. Okay? And the game was about 20 minutes old. And there was a moment of magic happened in the game, and all of a sudden Croke Park went into a eerie silence, just like what we were experiencing here. Looking back on that, that was the result of one man with a hurley. That's an extension of himself, but in a moment of magic, pure enough of magic, one of the artists of the game, DJ Carey, got a ball out of nowhere, done unbelievable magic with it, and before anybody knew it, the ball was inside in the back of the net. Galway knew in that moment they were beat. Kilkenny knew they had it won, and the whole Croke Park inside. Because of the magic, and for me, looking back at it and what we are trying to do here today, what we're about to do here, that was the connection of the magic of the ash tree and the magic of a human being, the skill of a human being, all coming together. The magic of 50,000 people being in one stadium witnessing probably the greatest field game, the greatest sport that's played in the world. And I suppose it was an honour and a contribution to trees, and particularly the ash tree, because it's not every tree that you can make a hurley out of and enact such a wonderful sport as hurling with. So, both in terms of having ash trees growing in this country, and the Irish having fashioned the sport out of the ash tree, I think it was a wonderful occasion that day. So that's my story for the day.
Ballygarvan were always good at kind of creating things, I think, and I know by association over the years, involved with them, helping them out in the hurling, going back over the years and having a good interest in the locality and so on, that, you know, this is continuing. And to be very hard to get, maybe there must be 40 people here this morning, to get 40 people on a Saturday morning to come along to an occasion like this, and this is something again you have to be very, very proud of. Up in the cagey fields above in Mayo, there was you know, a big centre up there where the first inhabitants came into Ireland, supposedly over 5,000 years ago. And one of the themes up there was that there was so much trees in Ireland at the time, and then of course trees were cut down for different, you know, different things to do with it, whether it be for firewood or making stuff or what have you, implements and tools and everything else. But there we are back again, sort of replanting.
What the group leaders are going to have to do is try and make sure that you just have 3 people in your group, and that way we can get as many trees planted as possible if we divide up. When we're doing the tree planting, we're going to be starting in this field here. Before we go any further, I'm going to get Daniel to explain to you how to plant the trees. Okay?
Planting the tree. First, I do a cut in this direction, so going with the direction of the trench, okay, the rip. Yeah. Just make a slit like that, okay? And then you pull the spade out and you put it in going down, so the first one is this, and then the second one is this, and that's why it's called a T-notch, okay? And then I've actually, if you'd work from the notch that you make, the top of the T is the one you then dig into, and you just kind of lever open the ground, so that you've made a place where there's a gap in underneath the surface of the soil. And I'll just grab that tree back again. I should really put my gloves on for this, but I won't bother. You just hold it open there where you've made that gap, and everyone can see that the soil is kind of staying open because of the way that it's got the two sides. You split the roots underneath there. Okay. Make sure they're not too crunched up. If the roots are very long, you can pull a couple of really long ones off. You can kind of break them off to make it shorter. Let the soil back down, and then because of that slit that I made, I'm able to pull the tree back up through the slit and just press it down. And the tree should be nice and straight-ish, straight enough, and the roots are all down in the ground, and it's fairly fast. When you're doing a lot of trees like this, the professional planters would do 1,000 a day, and you can only do that if you have a fairly fast system. So that's basically it, more or less. I mean, obviously if you're struggling with that particular technique, once the tree is in the ground, once the roots are in the ground and they're pointing more or less downwards, they're not all bunched up in a tight knot or all pointing back up, then you should be more or less fine, okay? So the important thing is